Welcome to Inside the Zone for Week 10 of the high school football season as the playoffs begin this Friday in most classifications, not all.
Yes.
Justin Kenny from Optimum Performance Sports here to talk some high school football, and it's really kind of weird because in years past we've had some really good 4A matchups, depending on way 5A and 6A play. We've had good matchups from them in Week 1, 3A, good matchups there. But this season, a lot of the better matchups in Week 1 are in the really small divisions. We're talking 1A and 2A.
1A in particular, South Adams and Cherubusco getting together. And, you know, of course, we take 5A and 6A off with the exception of Northside because they're in that 5-team sectional in 5A. 4A, we kind of were eyeing potential matchups. So we'll maybe have to wait a week or even 2 weeks to see. So that's kind of the way we like it, right? It's kind of spread out so it's not front-loaded, it's not back-loaded. Let's sprinkle some of these big matchups throughout the 3 weeks of sectional
Yeah,
play.
from some of the larger schools, we always talk about, oh, man, it's too bad that this is a matchup in Week 1 or a matchup in Week 2. It's not for a sectional championship. A lot of the better matchups, I guess you might say, will be for sectional titles, so that'll be great down the road. You mentioned sectional 43. That's in 1A. That is a loaded sectional. We're talking about in the 1A state poll of the 10 teams ranked, 4 of them are in this sectional, so certainly a lot of talent. East Side is at Southwood, Southern Wells is at Fremont. On the bottom half of that bracket, Adams Central at Northfield, South Adams at Busco. You take a look at it, you could make an argument for 4 to 5 teams that could win the sectional possibly.
Yeah, potentially. You look at that South Adams and Cherubusco matchup, the winner of that will likely get Adams Central. We've seen what Adams Central did to South Adams in the regular season, so we're thinking, well, you know, would the Starfires be able to make up that difference because that was at home and Adams Central was really able to take care of business, particularly in the second half. You look at Southwood up that in the upper part of that sectional. Last year, it was a Carson Blair-led offense that just outscored everybody, got down to state championship. Now it's a defense that's giving up less than 6 points a game, really leading them. So are they the biggest hurdle to Adams Central reaching regional play? At least on paper, they are.
Yeah, East Side, Southwood. Southwood won the TRC championship last week with an overtime win, so they have been tested. They win it by 1 in OT against rival Tippecanoe Valley. They're playing good football. Southern Wells and Fremont, both teams are 1-8. Adams Central versus Northfield. I think historically, Northfield in the last few seasons has put together some W's. They're 5-4 entering this season. They actually finished tied for first in the TRC North at 3-1. But it is that Southwood Busco matchup that a lot of people have their eye on here in Week 1. What do you see from these two teams that has you thinking, hey, this is in our eyes, it's the highlight zone game of the week, but this is a premier matchup for Week 1?
Well, Cherubusco defensively just been phenomenal throughout the year. I mean, their season high in points allowed was that 17 points in the loss to West Noble. So that defense has really been able to lead them throughout the season. They're very good offensively, but that defense is what has really won them a fair amount of football games. And you look at South Adams, that despite losing Nick Stuber, really hasn't missed a beat offensively. Grant Mosier would probably tell you, yeah, we definitely miss him on both sides of the football, but they've been able to make up his absence in different areas. So that is a very intriguing matchup going into Friday.
If you had to pick between those two, and I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you are.
But that's what we do here. It's only on the internet for the rest of your life. Who would you pick? Because both teams are playing some pretty good football as we enter this one. Busco got right last week with a big win. They put up 62 against Fairfield. And then South Adams has been tested a little bit recently and has passed the test, especially against Woodland there in Week 8.
I like South Adams in this matchup just because I think they have a little bit margin for error offensively. They're able to move the ball, put up some points. Cherubusco, I'm just not sure if they can really match South Adams score for score if that South Adams offense is able to get something going against that Cherubusco defense. That's the big question. Cherubusco defense has just been so good throughout the year. Can they limit South Adams? That's the big question. I think this is a lower scoring game on Friday, but I'm taking the Starfires.
All right, it should be interesting. Again, in Turtletown, it will be our highlight zone game of the week, so we'll be all over that.